Hi, my name is Vsevolod and welcome to my YouTube channel, where I share my videos of nature which I film and talk about gear I use. So this is not a gear review channel, but sometimes I publish videos specifically about things I use and want to share my experience. In this video I would like to talk about gearing your mirrorless camera for wildlife videography. It is quite unconventional and I haven't seen anything similar on the internet talked about. This example will be mostly universal towards any camera system and any lens combination, and only few specifics will be towards this camera and this lens combo. So if you're interested in making better wildlife videos in terms of gear wise, or you have any specific questions how you can optimize your workflow, this video could be of help of you in terms of rigging everything towards the best solution. There are a few things I would like to talk in the beginning. What are the reasons for rigging out your mirrorless camera? By itself, the camera is good for filming videos of wildlife in my particular case, but there are some things which it doesn't do good. For example, it doesn't record sounds good, especially of bird singing, because they are quite quiet often and there are a lot of noise around and you need a good mic. But just on-camera mics are not optimized for this. They are used to record people talking nearby and they are not good for it, so you need some powerful mic. For example, which I consider the best option is this Rode NTG5 mic, but it is XLR mic which doesn't have internal power source and it needs external 48 volt phantom power. Camera doesn't provide it. It gives, I don't know, something around 5 volts for your plug-in small microphones. You need also to attach this external power source and an amplifier, because in-camera amplifiers are very bad and I mean very noisy, so they are not good. This is like a must thing. The next is support. You want to mount your camera on the tripod. When you put a lot of things on the camera, the balancing point is usually very close towards the camera, and it is not possible to balance it on the tripod using the built-in foot with any camera plate attached to it. So you need something which would allow you to put it on the balancing point. So you need some longer base to be attached between the lens and between the camera. And this is like the basics, the only necessary things. But there are some more interesting things for me especially, so they also need somewhere to be mounted on the camera. One of them is external monitor. This comes with a sunshade cover. Why I need this monitor? Because I use the monitor to confirm the focus, because the on-screen monitor is too small for me and I cannot zoom in when the video recording is going on. And another thing which I sometimes mount on the camera is my Insta360 X3 camera, which I use just to take like point of view videos during the shoot. It could be useful just to make wildlife videos more interesting. A lot of things to be mounted on the camera. Camera becomes very heavy towards the body. Its balance point is somewhere closer to the body, so you won't be able to balance it on the foot. And you need a lot of things to attach to the camera. I bought this video cage for Nikon Z8. It is produced by Nikkor, I think. I didn't choose this particular model for any reason, because it is almost the same as small rig one, but it was a bit cheaper and it had a cable bracket for fixing your HDMI cable or power source cables here, so included, so it would be beneficial for me in the future. If you have never heard about the cages, this is the aluminum thing around your camera with a lot of mounting holes for 3/8 and 1/4 inch threads and some cold shoe attachments in addition to your own camera hot shoe. So basically you have two cold shoes, your own camera hot shoe, and a lot of mounting threads and net rails which could use NATO clamp attachments. From this point I will depart from the classical approach, because classical approach means that you will need to mount some base here using rods. To those rods you attach another things and it gets very heavy very quickly, and I need to be as lightweight as possible. After you have mounted the cage for your camera, now you need to mount a base plate, and in my specific case I'm using Arca Swiss plate because I want to have this ability to use it on heads I have on my smaller tripod, on my monopods, and of course on the video head, which I'm using from Leo Photo. I choose this specific mounting plate for the reason of having this clamp at the base of it, because it gives me additional rigidity to my system. You can of course just use flat plate and screw it into the base of the camera and into the base of the lens. You see, I have removed the lens feet because it was protruding too much. This clamp allows me to make a very secure connection here, because when I mount a lot of weight on the camera itself, I want this weight to be transferred to the plate, to the tripod directly through this rigid system, and not be transferred through the lens foot, which will put a lot of stress on the mounting between the lens, in my specific case TC, and the camera, or lens and the camera directly, because a lot of weight on the camera and all that weight goes to the tripod through the foot, and it forces like this bending on the lens mount. It is not critical, but if I can avoid this, I try to avoid this. But one specific thing for my lens and camera combo, if I use it just directly like this, as you can see, I think there is a space between the plate and the lens. I want this to be fixed to the lens and the weight from the lens to go into the plate, so it creates a rigid structure without bending or stressing the point between the lens and the camera. 1/4-inch bolt, which was supplied with the plate, is a short one. It is not suitable for this application, so I had to purchase the longer one. I don't know if the camera will focus, but I'll try to show you. I had to grind off the threads from the half of this bolt. Essentially, the best thing was just to grind it almost to the end and leave like 4 or 5 thread rows, but it was very tedious process because I didn't have a powerful enough grinder to do it. So even this almost half, or I think like third of the thread length ground took a lot of time. Why need it? Because the plate is designed in such a way, I will show you, wait a sec, that this groove where the bolt is sliding, it is narrower than the section of the bolt which has threads. So it is designed in such a way that the bolt can slide there only with this bottom part where it doesn't have threads from the manufacturer. In such a case you cannot use it with this lens because there are no space for it to be mounted. They designed it in such a way that the bolt doesn't fall off when it is not threaded into the camera. So I need to thread it through the hole here. And then it can freely slide, but it will not fall off. But the thing is, when it was supplied in the way it was, it could only like stick a lot, and I couldn't plunge it inside to fit it for that little space I have between the lens and the camera. So it will take a bit longer time than it takes in the field to do this, but to be honest, I'm like mounting and dismounting this plate like several times a year only. So it is not a big deal. First of all, I need just to thread a little bit the bolt here to the lens. It doesn't have to be in any right place, just a little bit to fix the bolt in the lens. So at some point you will have the bolt fixed to the lens and the plate clamped but loose. So at this point you don't need to think about any precision, because it is already centered along the axis of the lens using the bolt itself, and the clamp thing will center itself on the lens because it is pushing from opposite sides. So no worries about perfect centering, it will just center itself. And after that you can fix the bolt. If you are having some other type of the lens which doesn't have the removable feet, or it doesn't have the thread here when you remove the feet, you can just put any compressible spacer. For example, I'm using the cork from the bottle cork, and I just cut out the thing here for the bolt to be fit here, like this, and another under the bolt's head. So you can just put some spacer here and tighten the lens to the plate using more flexible tie like Velcro or something. I'm using slightly taller than the spaces here and here, just for it to be compressed and not to be loose. So now you can see that we have a rigid system where everything is fixed to itself, and this thing doesn't carry as much, I think, or at all of the stress from the mounting all the weight and then putting that weight towards here. So what we have gained by this approach, we now have the Arca Swiss, in my case, plate, which we can balance anywhere along this length, and for this camera with everything mounted towards the back, it will be closer to the camera, as I said. Also, this plate has some 1/4 threads here and here, and I can mount another things. And here goes the bracket for the mic. Why not mount mic directly on the camera? Because sometimes during video recording you need to adjust some things, and anytime you touch the camera, the mic system is very sensitive towards the sound coming in front of you, but all those little touches of the camera will be recorded by it even from the sides and from the back, because it is so close to the source of the sound. So putting it even those small distance forward will make it less susceptible to accepting those noises. In my specific case, mic is long by itself, so it becomes even longer with the cable, so it is not possible and feasible to mount it on the camera directly, because it will just be bumping into my forehead. This aluminum bracket is a no-name Chinesian thing, which came with small clamps which accept like cold shoe mount types, and I just use some wood to make imitation of cold shoe on the base of the mic to be clamped here. I also added another 1/4 inch screw here, so it could be screwed towards the base plate with 2 screws. It would be rigid in terms of twisting motion, so it won't unscrew itself, and it is that strong that I can carry by this handle itself all this rig when I'm carrying without the tripod. Or it could be double as the second handle for your camera, which is very useful. There is no particular way you mount it to the left, to the right. If you mount it to the left of the camera, like here, it would be super comfortable using it like handheld, because this is for your left hand and this is for your right hand. But when I'm doing video shooting from the tripod, I mount it to the right of camera to have nothing block my hand from using the manual focus ring, because with my right hand I'm steering the camera with the handle on the video head, and with my left hand I am adjusting focus if need be so. So this would be very awkward, because in the field it is far easier and faster. So when both of them are threaded, I just tighten them down, and I thread it to the wrong side. Okay, I will not change it for the video, but you can imagine this is like very comfortable for hand holding, and if I will be using it for video, I will be mounting on the other side. Another thing which is not very obvious, but now you have a very safe system in terms of fixing on the video head, because on the back of the plate you have this small pin which it prevents it from falling off the head if its Arca squeeze clamp is loosened and it slides like this way. And on the front of the plate you have this bar which will definitely prevent it from sliding from the head in the other direction. So if by some miracle your clamp on the video head is loosened and the camera starts to slide away, it won't fall off by itself. So now we have all those things mounted. We can mount the mic. I try to put mic as far forward as possible, but still with some clearance. When the lens hood is attached here, it has a very thick rubber, so I can put it down on the soil in the forest, and the mic has some space not to touch the ground, so I can like do it without second thinking when I need to rest, and it is very useful to be able to put the camera in such a way on the ground. Sound amplification thing. It has ability to be mounted on the cold shore, or it has built-in 1/4 inch thread which could be used for mounting a cheese plate which comes in with this specific unit. It is DXA Micro Pro Plus from Beachtech. It is highly regarded thing. It is very low soft noise for its cost, and better to pick it up second hand because there is nothing to break. It's just an aluminum brick with a small power source inside. So I mount it here, I plug in the XLR, and by the way, another pro tip: if you will end up using something similar to this system, opt for as short XLR cable as you can. And on the second cold shoe I can mount my other 360 camera here, or I can mount it on the cheese plate if I want so, or directly to this 1/4 inch thread, and here I can mount the monitor. So I have a lot of stuff here already, and it is very weighty and it is very heavy towards the back. But you have the proper balance point and it is very secure here. So to summarize this video, I have necessity to put a lot of things on the camera, adding a lot of weight, so I try to save as much weight as I possibly can elsewhere. Also, putting a lot of things on the camera shifts a lot of the balance towards the body itself, because it is very heavy here. So it is not possible to use in this way your mirrorless camera with a long telephoto lens mounted just by the lens feet itself, because it will put a lot of stress on the camera's lens mount point, and it would be impossible to balance it on the video head because of the balance point reaching far in the back. Also, the camera by itself doesn't offer any support to mount all these things. You need a cage and all these things. I hope my video was very useful for you. If you have any more additional questions for this approach, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you for supporting my channel, and see you in the next videos. Bye bye!